Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to the Uncommon Commentators on your annual Thursday night. I'm your boy Antoine Willis Jr., and this is my main man, Garrett Brown, GB. Oh, yep, we're just here to break down some basketball as we always do, most definitely. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about when most people don't. Y'all know how we do over here. With the NBA free agency, it's a lot of underlying storylines, a lot of back and forth between players and their franchises unexpectedly, I might add, in my opinion. But always like to start this off by asking my man GB how he's doing. How you been, Gary? How's your week been? Know you're always working, most definitely, because we're always texting
Mhm.
outside of here. But how's your week been so far, and how you doing, man?
Good, brother. It's just been a busy week, of course, but I always love to come on this platform and talk some hoops. The summer is still ongoing, still some free agents that have been unsigned, and really just looking forward to the new season. So it can't get here fast enough, but every day's always been good, so can't complain.
Yeah, man, most definitely. Yeah, it's been pretty good over here too. It's been working. My side hustle been covering the Lakers off season. We're gonna talk about it in a minute, but just put out an article about Luca signing that extension. So it's pretty good to see that the Lakers are indeed advancing forward with the future. And everyone can read the writing on the wall. You know, with Luca coming in at 26 and LeBron being 40, in the last year of his contract with no contract for the year 2026. 2027. So it's pretty interesting free agency. It's definitely been, but yeah, man, always blessed to do this with you. Got the man Wiley on the ones and twos. You already know. That's our main man, most definitely from Kentucky. Most definitely. Always love talking to you, boy. You already know. And yeah, man, we can go ahead and get to it, honestly, because I'm pretty excited to talk about all this money, all these deals, all these franchises, all these transactions, and this drama. You feel me? So, yeah, man. So I will say, congratulations to De'Aaron Fox and Luka Doncic on getting their extensions. We know that Luka got a 3 year. Most definitely. Uh, I I do kind of want to ask you, not gonna lie, yo, how do you feel? Not even a blindside you, Gary, but how do you feel about NBA players getting like millions of dollars, bruh, to like play basketball? Do you think they'll only continue to make more, like 300, 400 million dollar contracts, or you think at a certain point with the CBA it'll really become stagnant at a certain point if the league thinks they're paying out too much money for these guys to go out and shoot hoops at the end of the night. Of course,
Hmm.
there's so much more to it, dieting, world class competition. There's so much more to it. But at the end of the day, you've heard these players themselves say how lucky they are to play basketball for millions of dollars. There's some people out there hooping right now for free after hooping like
Hmm.
8, 9 hours. So, how do you feel about, before we break down all this money, how do you feel about these players in this new modern era of the NBA getting paid so much with these contracts?
Yeah, I think um, after each year or as time goes by, you're starting to see players getting paid more and more.
Mhm.
And I think that has to do with their own status, to be honest with you, because you're starting to see players getting paid a lot more money, like SGA, for example. He's getting paid a lot more than what we've seen, players get paid, in the past. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's, earning the highest annual salary, or he's
Mhm.
definitely up there for sure. I don't know the numbers exactly, but I know that he's one of the richest NBA players, salary
Mhm.
wise, of all time. So I
Right.
think it's just, of their own status, who they are to this league. So players like SGA, Joker, Jason Tatum, guys that represent the league. Of course, those guys are going to be making money than what we thought. But on the flip side to that, as you mentioned, the CBA, the NBA has made it a lot more difficult for teams to, um, I guess, have more, freeway as far as how they want to spend their money. They're forcing NBA teams to be more strategic of how they're spending their money, how they're building teams. So, of
Right.
course, it's very important to keep your superstar players happy. So, of course, it's not a surprise to see SGA get his contract extension, or of course, guys like Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams. Of course, we'll get into that kind of a little bit later. But I'm just saying that guys like of that caliber, it's not surprising that they're getting, the money that they deserve. But of course, that does tie into or affect how the rest of the roster of any team is going to be, constructed per se. But no, it's it is crazy, to see players getting so much money that, like I said, we've never really expected. But I guess players like SGA, who did take some of a pay cut for him to make sure that other guys are taken care of. And we saw Jalen Brunson last offseason, take a pay cut. And I think Luca, I think he could have gotten more, but of course
Hell yeah.
he took less. So but I think that's the beauty of it when you look at players of that caliber, where yeah, he could get the supermax or he can get this deal, but they decide, hey, I'll take this deal. There's no problem, just to make sure that other guys are taken care of, and giving the front office or executives more flexibility to really build out a competitive team, because these players, they really care about winning. So it's like, even though they care about winning, they're not having this selfish attitude where, hey, I need all my money. You have to figure other stuff out later. These guys are serious about winning games and being champions. So
Mhm.
that's one thing that I do appreciate about those guys, because you're making millions of dollars, and of course, they're making so much money that you can take care of your family for generations. And so not everybody gets that that kind of wealth, or have that kind of way of life. But I'm just saying, for them to take some pay cuts here and there, it just shows their leadership and how much they care for their team that they're playing for, and just making winning as a priority versus how much money they're going to earn. But yeah, it's crazy just to see how much money these players are making. But like I said, it's not a surprise of that, because of you're seeing players like LeBron and Kevin Durant and um, Steph Curry. Those guys are, towards the end of their career at some point in time soon. So you're starting to see, new fresh faces. They're going to be the new faces of the NBA, in the near future. So, but yeah, it is crazy, just to see how, these guys are making so much money. So, but hey, they deserve it.
Nah, I get it, like, for sure. Just want to put this in perspective. Like, the highest paid player in the NFL right now is linebacker TJ Watt for the Pittsburgh Steelers, brother of future Hall of Famer JJ, of course, for the Houston Texans. He just signed a $123 million contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers to stay with the franchise. He's getting paid $41 million a year. But, like, compared to Jalen Brown, who got $304 million
Yeah,
back
yeah, that's yeah.
back in 2023. I just think that goes to show you. Now I do agree with what you said with how teams obviously they have to be really strategic in how they build their teams now, and that's kind of the fun part for the GMs. I feel, seeing how it's chess, not checkers, and like you really only have so much money with the cap space with the CBA to get the necessary players to build a cohesive unit. So I do like that they do have to work a little harder with the CBA every year. I know it is
Yep.
raising 10% every summer, but eventually, I do think they might hard cap the CBA even a little bit more than usual. I think the person who's gonna beat Jalen Brown's record, and of course we're about to talk about his teammate in a minute. It's pretty funny. Is Victor Wembanyama? I do think Wemby is based off his potential as a player, as an athlete. What he's gonna do for the San Antonio Spurs. I think the Spurs, when that rookie like extension is over and it's time for like a veteran deal, you might see Victor get like 360, like 350 million. Like you'll never see no one get like that Shohei Otani money, that Juan Soto money. You're never gonna see that in the
Yeah.
NBA. But yeah, I was curious about that, and I appreciate you
Hmm.
answering my question most definitely. And yeah, man, like these guys go through a lot, just to even make it there, to get paid like that, to be able to play basketball. So, and I always put it in this perspective, like if you have to be so good to get paid $1 million to do anything. So
Mhm.
to play basketball, like I don't think like people because we're so desensitized, so we watch the NBA so much, but like people don't really fathom how good you really have to be to get paid so much. Like, you just saw Dylan Harper's expression when he got that $56 million contract on a rookie deal. You know, life changing money for him going in his bank account at 19, not his father, not his mom, his money. You feel me? So this goes to show you like um how hard it is. But I do think the players are compensated well for their talent for certain. And starting off one of the biggest deals, like I said, Victor's teammate, De'Aaron Fox did get a 4-year, $229 million extension from the San Antonio Spurs. He's 27. So he is indeed in his prime. He was an all-star in Sacramento. I've always been high on De'Aaron Fox. I just think that obviously they didn't have that much playoff experience or success with the Kings, but I think he's always been a good player. He just averaged 23 points, 5 rebounds, with 6 assists last season while shooting 46% from the field. He's a good player. I do think he'll complement Victor Wembanyama very nicely. I'm just really the most part I'm interested about with this whole ordeal is how they're going to fit, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and De'Aaron Fox. And how are they
Mhm.
going to? Because you can't just have that number two pick like that number two pick just sitting on the bench like that. I think eventually they'll send Dylan down to the Austin Spurs, or where he'll be able to really get some playing time, just really just stretch his legs, similar to Bronny James this last season. And we did see that he was dealing with an injury during the summer league anyway. So I think it's better for his acclimation to the league that they let Dylan Harper honestly play down in Austin. So I guess that kind of answers my own question with sending Dylan to the G League, but who knows? They might think he's too good for that. But he does come to San Antonio as a one-time All-Star. He's made the All-NBA team before. He led the league in steals back in 2024, the former Kentucky Wildcat. So, how do you feel about De'Aaron's legacy in Sacramento? If you think he has a legacy over there, and how do you feel about the future with him pairing with Victor? And do you think he'll be like his co-star for the future like that, or do you think it might go wrong somewhere down the line?
Yeah, so I think for San Antonio, where they are right now, because they are a very, very young team,
Yep.
and I think fully healthy, I think this is a playoff caliber franchise right now. And I would say for the contract for De'Aaron Fox, because some people have mentioned, some, people around the media world had, given their thoughts about, Fox getting the contract. Some people say he wasn't really worth all of the money because, like you mentioned, hasn't had much, success, with the Sacramento Kings and only making the playoffs once. And we know the kind of player he is as far as, his skill level and things of that nature. But I would say when you look at his overall career thus far, is he worth, that much when you look at his skill level and then you weigh, the success that he's, been able to achieve. But like I said, I'm not the kind of person that's going to count, people's pockets and their money and things of that nature. If they get it, then hey, they deserve it. There's a reason why it was given to them. But I will say that for Darren Fox, I think he's worth the money because of the impact that he brings to any team. Because he is a clutch player and he's a very, very lethal shooter. So and a very good playmaker as well. So just to have that kind of player next to Victor Wembanyama again, just to have someone that's young that can ride with him up until he gets to his prime. And
Yep.
I'm not sure if a De'Aaron Fox and a Victor Wembanyama combo is a championship kind of duo. I mean, I'm not saying you can't win a championship with those two, but I'm just not sure if you can rely on those two guys to really get you there. But like I said, I think at the very least they are a playoff caliber franchise. So I think Darren Fox, he is the kind of player that can certainly be a co-star next to Victor Wembanyama because once before earlier this year, I actually when I was up in Greenville with my
Mhm.
best friend. We drove up to Charlotte and we saw the Spurs and the Hornets game, and
Right.
just to look at the potential of those two guys, and just seeing Victor Wembanyama, kind of up close, and just seeing Darren Fox, and just seeing the chemistry between those two guys, I think it's going to turn out very, very well. And we didn't see the whole game entirely, but we did see where that game almost went into overtime. But Darren Fox, he shot the ball, but it just he got it off too late. But I'm just saying that just to see the potential between those two guys, I think if they just if both guys can stay healthy and just continue to play with each other throughout the season, then of course that chemistry is going to build up even more, be more beneficial for those two and for the team, and for San Antonio just to build out their roster. Uh, like you mentioned with Fox and Castle and Harper,
Carter Bryant.
yeah, Carter Bryant. So it's where the guard room is going to clog up a little bit. So like you say, it wouldn't be surprising if Harper spent some time, with the spent some time in the G League, or even then, if they feel like Stephon Castle is a true two guard next to Darren Fox, then that may be a different story. So it may not be exactly what we all think, but no, I think a Darren Fox and a Victor Wembanyama combination, I think that's something that's going to um, fill a lot of chairs, for sure at a lot of games. So, and even we've seen it when we played them here
Yeah.
at home. So, yeah, they gave us a lot of problems. So, but yeah, so if Victor Wembanyama is fully healthy, and of course he's going to continue to get better, then that's a lethal combination. So, yeah, I think they're going to achieve a lot of success if everything goes right.
Yeah, man, I remember watching that game. I was there up in the nosebleeds that night. Onyeka Okongwu, I think it was
Yeah,
Okongwu
he
was
had
trying
30 and 12, something like that.
12 that game. Yeah,
Hmm.
and like it was just crazy because on the
Yep.
last play he tries to block Victor, but
Oh yeah, I
he's just
remember that. Yep.
he's just too tall and he fouls him and then he sinks the free throws and that was a great game and that was an amazing game for sure. It's
Yep.
crazy when you win a spectacle like that in person, even in the nosebleeds, you can see how big Victor is on the court. It's pretty spectacular. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I'm really excited for his future. I do think he's the future face of the NBA, taking the torch directly from LeBron James. It won't be like that. It won't translate that quickly, but I think in terms of like that dominant force on both sides of the ball with a stacked
Hmm.
roster, it's gonna be Victor, most definitely. And last season they finished 34 and 48, unfortunately. So I mean, obviously they did build the team a lot. We'll see how much this improves their defense. They lost Victor halfway through. He didn't even meet the 65 game mark. So definitely shows you that they do have a lot of potential on 34 and 34 and 48. It wasn't that bad compared to like the bottom West teams like Pelicans and Utah and stuff like that. So like yeah, like they were like yeah, 5 wins away from the 10th seed, like the playing spot. So with the Mavericks. So I am excited for the Spurs though with the De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama duo. I think they can average at least 24 points each with each other on the floor. I do think they can both eat at the same time, the pick and roll, the pick and fades. And they're both like, they can both create their own shots as well. Even Victor, as a 7'5"
Hmm.
center, can create his own shot, ball handling, dribbling. So they will definitely make an interesting combination. I think they're going to be hard to guard for teams who aren't good on like in transition like that. We know how fast De'Aaron is when he gets out on the fast break, and especially if he gets to running with Victor like in a lob threat or anything like that, they're gonna be really really hard to beat. And defensively, I think they're gonna be insane with Carter Bryant, Stephon Castle. Um, just those acquisitions alone, alongside Victor, I thought Carter looked phenomenal in the summer league, just being all over his opponents with his length, his intangibles, just everything about him. I mean, he was already talking on defense at 18 years old, so he's gonna fit right into this system. And yeah, with Jeremy Sohan, Kendall Johnson, Devin Vassell, I do think they are a pretty good roster. They're just still developing, still growing right now, but eventually they will return to the San Antonio Spurs of old, that Wiley was accustomed to watching back in the mid 2000s. So I am excited for this team. They have a really good young core, one of the best young cores in the league, to be completely objective, next to our Hawks, of course. And I'm excited to see what the Spurs can do next season. But Going with the next signing, we know that Luca did sign a 1 year, like I said, a 3 year, 165 million deal with the Los Angeles Lakers to make him his their official star player going into the next era, into the next decade, I should say. Now, LeBron, he spent 6 seasons in LA, so there was indeed a LeBron James era. He did bring them a championship back in 2020, regardless of what everyone says in the league circles. Most people that I've talked to do count the bubble as a championship. You can't just gatekeep and just take LeBron's 4-3. You can't just do that. Like they made them play. They played. They won. That was it. And they were a great team. KCP, Alex
Look, stop
Caruso.
listening. Stop listening to the damn. Stop listening to those folks that
Like
say
Daryl
shit
Morey and stuff like that.
Daryl Morey.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on Daryl Morey. But anyways, don't listen.
James
Stop
Harden.
listening to the fuck. Stop listening to the fucking troll. Hey, it's a championship. It happened. Get over it.
Most definitely. And I do agree with the man Wiley there. Most definitely. Yeah, man. So LeBron, like, he's done everything he could in LA, like literally. So, and I only put it that way because I feel like some people want to push him out the door, man. I get it. Like he's taking $53 million from the Lakers salary cap this season just for 1 year of service, but he just averaged 24 points, 8 rebounds. Yeah, I mean, if you round up, yeah, 8 rebounds with 8 assists a game. Still playing like LeBron, even on paper. And even then, before Luka arrived and before Austin Reeves improved to like a damn near all-star level, LeBron was he averaged like 30 points a game in LA at one point, and he averaged like 28 points per game like the year after that. And I was at like 37 and 38 years old. So the only thing about him that's really happening more than ever are the injuries. He was never injured like this in Miami, never injured like this back in like the second Cleveland stint or the first Cleveland stint.
Because he ain't old. He wasn't old. This nigga is old. He has and now we're talking about old as an age and mileage. Mileage is so when I say old, I'm mostly talking about the actual mileage.
Right.
Like, he has a shit ton of mileage. Motherfucker, what year are we going in? What year?
23?
23.
Yeah.
Historic 23rd.
We're going into year 23. This is fucking unheard of. So yeah. Yeah, he's not gonna look nothing like what he used to, and that's perfectly fine. And you talking about people trying to push him out? Yes, I will continue to say this. He's the old nigga in the club. The lights is on. It's time to go home. Hold up. Let me get in here real quick.
Please do.
Real quick. And motherfuckers gonna think I'm taking shots at LeBron. No. It's time, dog. As a nigga who is 43 years old with fucking back problems, shoulder problems, it's time, dog. Like it doesn't get any easier. Especially when your body starts to talk to you and be like, hey, it's time to sit the fuck down somewhere. Because my thing for LeBron is what are you doing this for? Like what else is there to do this for? Outside of the love of the game, what are you doing this for?
I mean,
he's trying to win. He's trying to get one more
the championships are definitely part of
your legacy.
Like the money is there, like regardless of residual income.
Well, I get the money. 52 million reasons
for
why
1 year.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I get that. But in I'm talking about the grand scheme of things.
Of course, yes, sir.
The grand scheme of things. Outside of the money, what are you doing this for? You have the records. You have the championship. You have the MVP. Like, what else are you doing this for? Because
he trying to get one more championship. Then he trying to get one more.
What? Your legacy is sealed.
I think it's.
I guess
your legacy been sealed for a minute.
Like, I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
Before he became a Laker.
Yeah, I'm not saying it hasn't. It's just, LeBron has always been that competitive. Whereas, like, okay, it doesn't matter if he's 19 or if he's 37, 38, whatever. He's always going to have that competitive mindset that, hey, I wanted to win a championship.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that he because look, LeBron has nothing else to prove. Let me just say it that
No,
way.
Fucking thing.
So
that's my
he could
point.
retire. Yeah, he could literally retire today, and like I said, he doesn't have anything to prove. But I would say, and I salute this to any player, and it doesn't even matter what kind of sport you play in. If
Mhm.
you're like 40 years old, and if you have the same durability that LeBron has, and if you're still able to play at a high level, and you still have that mindset, like, hey, I still want to go win a championship before I call it quits, I'm not mad at that. If you feel like you can go get a championship, then of course, pursue that. But obviously the franchise, they're slowly transitioning into making Luca,
And that's
the head of the snake, which is, quite obvious. But obviously while LeBron is here, while he's still playing at a high level, it's still his team for a time being. But like I said, I don't I think that it's not, to me, I don't think it's he's still playing because he think he has something else to prove. I think it's just him being competitive and just trying to, be more successful as he can, and try to get another championship. So, you know,
and
I think that's the whole
I
reason why.
completely, yeah, I completely understand that. I get it.
Hmm.
Like, again, it's just more so like you really don't have to do this, dog. Because I'm
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
think I just always look at the worst case scenario. Like,
Right.
hmm,
and that's one thing. Like, I really want him to go out on his own terms and not something catastrophic. Something that made catastrophic happen that could possibly happen to him. Like, I want him to be able to walk away from this game and be like, yo, I got to walk away from this fucking game the way, the way I did it. I did it my way, and I've accomplished all this shit throughout my entire career. Where these numbers will probably 9 times out of 10, these numbers are never getting touched, and I think it's going to be not because these players can't do it. Nobody's gonna want to play 23 fucking
Play
years.
that long, bro.
Yeah, like and
well, it's like I'll just say it like this right here, real quick. So we saw how long it took, to break Kareem's record scoring title. If I'm
mhm,
not mistaken, it took what, 40 years? 40 years
yep,
for that to break?
yep,
It probably gonna be it's either gonna take that long or even longer for
right.
anybody to break LeBron's record, or even, achieve anything that, any stat that he's done. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying how
And
long it may take.
I don't
That
think
would have
it'll
to be
ever.
so good.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah,
it'll ever be broken because of the fact that
I
the way
don't.
that they're
yeah.
and this is, even if the league stays at playing 82 games, I don't think it'll ever be broken. But I
Mm-hmm.
really don't think it'll be broken because of the fact that they're trying to change how many games. They're trying to lessen the amount of games that they play. So if you lessen the amount of fucking games that you
You
play,
have to be
that
like
shit's never gonna. Yeah,
really, really,
that shit's
really, really,
never
really
gonna get.
efficient. Really
You're gonna
efficient.
have to
Yeah.
average 30, like 35 points your entire fucking career to
Yep.
even
Shooting
remotely get close to
67%.
that.
Yep.
Even get close. Yep. Yeah.
Like for
So
real,
Like,
yo.
it's gonna be have to you're gonna have to be that anomaly like he was, like Kareem was, like you're going to have to be such a special player in order to break that
exactly. Yeah.
shit.
It's not gonna be like, some ordinary college player coming out. I mean, you have to have
Mhm.
like rare talent that nobody's
Exactly.
ever seen.
And you got to come out the gate your
Yep.
rookie year.
Yep.
You're
And be
gonna
Gonna
have to
have
come out
to.
the
demonstrative.
gate your rookie year swinging.
Yep.
And like for me, I think, because to even answer Wiley's question, man, I think it's the infatuation, man. Once it's over, it's over. At one point, he worked so hard to get there, and now he's been there, kicked his feet up, and now like it's his house
It's
now. And now, like, I get
it's
it.
life after
That house has
basketball.
turned into a club where he might be too old. But at the same time, man, I can only, like, literally, I can only imagine what it feels like to dominate all that world class competition for a year. Like, you step on the court, you know these niggas are scared of you. Whether they want to admit it or not, whether any of that, they're playing the fuck man. Oh damn. Who's
They
playing small forward? If you were playing the small
ain't too
forward and you
many.
know like he was your assignment and shit like that, I get
Oh
it.
yeah,
Like
I feel
young
like that's
LeBron.
not
Jesus
really
Christ.
I don't
Like
think
I
that's even
can
something that fans, I mean, not fans, but players get scared about either because players know the exceptions. You're not stopping a prime
uh,
LeBron. You're not stopping a prime Steph Curry. You're not stopping
Kevin
a prime
Durant.
Kevin Durant. So it's just like they're gonna get there. So I mean,
even at
you
this
could. I
age.
mean, you could try, but I just don't think that's more of like being scared because it's like, look, like you can name me like the best defender of all time. You can take your pick. Nobody's going to stop any of those players. Now you could say, any defender might give them a hard time, but I'm just saying
Mhm.
those guys they're going to get theirs. They're going to dominate. They're going to get theirs.
I
So it's
mean,
just like,
hell,
hey, you just do the best you can and hope for the best.
when we
So
look at the Spurs Heat final, when
yep, yep.
like Kawhi gave him hell, but
And that was the first time.
LeBron
He was the
still
first
But
nigga to
LeBron,
ever
he
do
still,
shit like
yep.
that.
he
That's
still
what I
did his
mean.
thing.
Mhm.
Like even like you can like there's tons of fucking footage out there where it's like, yeah, people made LeBron work, but guess what?
But
LeBron
LeBron still
still,
still got his. He
yeah,
still
he
got
still
his.
got
Oh,
his.
there's just players you just never going to stop. That's just
No, the
how
only
great of a
way they
talent.
stop, the only way
If they stop
they're so
themselves,
called, yeah, the only way that they're so called stop is if they just have a bad game.
yep,
Like
that
that's
is true.
it's very rare that you see somebody like just stop them one on one, so to speak, or more so a team effort. Because like Golden
Hmm.
State, they literally had to throw bodies at him in order and that's just to slow him down. That wasn't
Yep.
even to stop him. That
Even
was
Steph,
to
even
slow
Steph,
him enough.
even Steph admitted that when this was when he won his first championship in a decade ago. I think this
Mhm.
was game 5 or 4 or 5, something like that. It was at home, and then he was saying like, yeah, we just the best thing we could do is just slow him down, get him out of a
That's
rhythm.
it.
So they know the kind of player he is. So
I'm gonna
he
say
gets that respect. So
I'm sure people are going to take my comments about LeBron and try and say, hey, my again for somebody who's in their 40s and knows that life has whooped my ass along the way. Life has whooped LeBron's ass along the way, and his body be letting him know, yeah, he spends X amount of dollars to take care of himself, but also when you start getting those injuries don't heal like they used to.
yeah,
That shit,
but I mean,
even the
it's like
slightest,
he doesn't.
even the slightest ankle turnover, when you turn your ankle over. When we saw him, when you turn your ankle over in your fucking 20s, you fucking, you could hobble that shit off and be
Walk
all
it
right.
on.
Yep.
Now, for somebody that's in their
It's like
40s,
an ankle break.
you turn your fucking ankle over, shit, you posted up for a couple weeks, man.
Like a fracture.
But I think,
You know?
the fact of the matter is that nobody has never had his durability. So
Right.
Yeah,
I
And
man.
guess
and
just,
and that's
I guess
it's
just
just so
for
rare.
yeah,
You,
and
you
that's why I say because I mean, you look at the way he keep himself in shape. I mean,
but
he could
even,
play another
hey,
3 to 5 years if he wants to. It's just not
until
because of his skill, it's
until
just his durability, man. But I
but
mean,
until he gets one of those nagging, it's the nagging injuries.
yeah,
Those nagging
yeah,
injuries are the ones that will keep you sidelined the most,
yeah.
more than like some
Mhm.
major injury. Those little nagging injuries, those small ankle sprains that, like I said, that
They'll,
would take you a couple of days to
they'll
get
start
over.
creeping up to you.
Yeah, that shit
Yep.
take you 2-3 weeks to get yourself together now.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
why,
Mhm.
yeah. And then on top of that, the other part now, and I'll be done as far as from a LeBron standpoint.
Are you good, man?
I'm I don't want I don't want the Lakers to use him like they've been used. Well, pretty much like he's been being used his entire career, where he's playing so many fucking minutes. Because again, that wears down on you. That we saw it these last few years. If Luka's taking over the team, hand that shit over to Luka, figure out the game plan around Luka, and then and let LeBron Let LeBron do what he do. That's
Well, let me ask you this.
really.
Well, let me ask you this real quick here. I mean, I'm not saying that's what they should not do. I think for me, I think they would do that until he finally calls it a career. But it's like for this season, for example, like okay, if we know that the franchise they're leaning towards Luca, but like I said
Right.
before, they're LeBron is still the face of the franchise for the time being. So it's
Yep.
like okay, if
Is he
it's
though?
where I mean for the time being, yeah. I'm just
fucking-
saying for right
I'm
now.
just
I'm not
no,
saying
I'm
like
fucking with I mean, we
but
got
I'm just saying
look.
like,
Hold up.
I'm just
Hold
saying
up.
like, okay, if he's still the guy just for right now, for a time being, I'm just saying that. Well, okay, do you still play him heavy minutes if you're like, competing for a championship? Because I think what should happen is they should build a team that is sustainable, for both Luca and LeBron, so that when LeBron retires, then the roster is still suitable for Luca to where they can still keep
I
going.
mean,
Versus,
that's what we I feel like that we're seeing. I mean, but
yeah,
hold up. We got the fucking Laker beat writer in the
I'm done.
I don't know.
I
I'm
mean,
just saying like,
we got
I'm just
the
saying like
big
in terms of
we
just
got the
like him
big
playing
time Laker
heavy
beat
minutes.
writer over
I'm just
here.
like, I'm just speaking from the Lakers standpoint. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Mhm.
if we feel like we can win a championship with LeBron and Luca, then I don't think that they would put him like on a minute restriction or give him less minutes. That's all I'm saying. So I
Right.
mean, he may play
But
less minutes for a couple less minutes or whatever, but that's my
I
only
only
opinion.
say that because we saw what happened when they brought Anthony Davis up. He was
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
supposed to take the reins of the Lakers, and the more we saw, the more they kept leaning on LeBron. And it's like, hey, dog, we need you to run this shit. And it's like, yo, and then me over here, I'm looking like, well, what the fuck happened to Anthony? Like, what happened to
Wow.
so-called handing these keys over to AD?
Well, the Lakers, Lakers in my opinion, they really didn't do AD any favors to begin with
Not at all.
because of the fact that they really didn't like the way the roster was set up. They didn't really like maximize his skill set. But I
Well,
think
they fucked
he's
up. They fucked it up after that championship. After
Forcing him
that
to run a
yeah,
championship,
five.
that's one of the
that's
reasons
the
too.
main.
Because
That's
like
the
even
He got
even for
main.
me,
complacent.
I'm not even a Lakers fan. I said, bro, you're coming off of a championship. Like the roster was like so in depth.
You
Why
had
blow
a
it up?
yeah.
But that's a whole nother conversation. But even like right before he got traded to Dallas, they didn't really give him like the tools for him to be successful. Meaning they didn't put him at his natural position at the four spot when they should have got a center and then
Yeah,
let him play the
and
four. I
he
think they
did
would
act
have been
for a
a
center.
lot better if they just did that for him. But
Mhm.
that's why I said they didn't really do him any favors. But I
I'm
mean,
Just
just
hey,
think it
saying,
made it
look,
complacent. That's all. It just made him really complacent in the front office. Jeannie, she had majority ownership back then before she sold the team to Mark Walters now. And we know what Mark
yeah,
Walters, they just spent that Luca money, and he's on record saying he's a really big fan of Doncic, and he's been on record paying a lot of money too. He gave Shohei Ohtani $700 million to get him on that team.
big bread.
So I don't think there's going to be any hesitation in Mark Walter at all to build the team around Luca, and they're doing that now. They got DeAndre Ayton, they got Marcus Smart, they have the roster at least for right now. Next person they got to extend is Austin Reeves. Some people think he might be eligible, get like a $90 million extension, 100 million. I think he's around like 110 million, something like that. Like there were
He'll get
performances
it.
where when LeBron and Luca were both injured. I can remember one game, I think it was versus the Spurs. He had like 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists by himself. There was no LeBron
He's
or
going to
Luka.
get it because they have to pay somebody.
Mhm.
Somebody on the team got to get paid.
And
yeah.
he averaged 20 points a game this year, So I think, with no LeBron and playing with LeBron 100% changed his life. You can only improve like playing under that pressure, even during a regular season game. I can only imagine that scowl, not even LeBron being mad, but him being locked in the game and him just fucking passing it to Austin like that. You gotta be fucking ready when he passes you that ball. Just playing with LeBron. the last 4 years has changed Austin dynamically. I'm going from like a 7 point per game score to 13 to 16 and now to over 20 this season. So I do think the Lakers do have the roster they need for the future. And even then, the whole LeBron thing kind of speaks for itself, because they don't have an extension on the table at the moment. It did come out during the summer league that Rich Paul and LeBron did not ask for an extension, but nor did they ask for a trade. So I think they're really just because LeBron is so used to having his phone blown up for that extension like that. So I think the fact it didn't come, it's kind of like, okay, like what's going on here? Meanwhile, they're on the phone with Luka getting that straightened out,
Right. They got to get the important shit straightened out first.
But for me, I guess
we got to get our long-term shit straightened out before we hit the short-term shit.
For sure. But like, I guess this is my last question on like the Lakers front. With the signed players, of course, because still got to discuss our unsigned talent. Do you think if LeBron, because he's not taking a pay cut, I'm not even gonna say like fucking 30 million. He's not getting paid under like 40 million, under 50 for real. So do you think at 40, if they were to extend him 3 years, do you think LeBron's going to wither away by 43? He just averaged 25 this year, basically 25, 8, and 8. So like, do you think he just falls off a cliff at 41, 42, staying in shape and trying?
It's just that durability.
He's not.
How many games did LeBron play this year? Like, because I know
he's withering. He's withering away, but it's not the withering away that we're used to. Like, he's not falling
averaging
off
like 8
like he's not falling off a deep end.
9 points, nothing like that. Yeah.
70 games for LeBron at 40 or 70.
Like it could be where like, okay, if he plays up until, because he's what, 38 right now?
40.
40. Okay. I don't know why you keep saying
41 in December.
40, yeah, hold up.
You turned 41 in December.
Okay. So if he's 40 and then he plays another 3 years, I think as far as like statistic wise, we could see him, worst case scenario where he could average like right below 20. So like I'll probably say between 17 to 19 points, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I don't see him averaging like 10 points or under, like, or anything like that. I think he could still average close to 20. So like I said, between 17 to 19 points, something like that. That's just being on the low end. Because I think if his durability keeps up the way it is, then I could see him averaging those kinds of numbers.
The game's evolving, and the players are only getting younger.
Yeah.
But what age? Like give me like, is it 43 where he finally just starts to like just slow down, and players who wouldn't have had a candle 10 years ago, like
It'd probably I think it would be.
Because I think it's average almost a triple.
Yeah, I think it'd be. I think it'd be like that right at year 4. Yeah, I'd be like when he hits 43. Yeah, I think he'll have. I think he has another 2
slowing
years.
down. He's slowing down now. It's just not the slow. Listen, hear me out. He's slowing down now. It's just not the slowing down that we've been used to seeing.
Of course.
Yeah, it's not going down like
it's not the it's not like
a steep,
like it's not falling off a cliff.
Yeah, exactly. It's trending down, but slowly.
He's slowly trending down, and that's normal. That's what happens when you get older.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you get older. You trend. Some people fall off a fucking cliff. Some people fall off a cliff, but for players like him, he's just slow. It's a slow decline. His decline just looks different from any other player. That's it.
Averaging 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists a game with 70 games played, even with the injuries, like towards groin.
Think about it. His game. He has to continue to evolve his game. That's why his game. That's why I'm saying
he's shooting more than ever.
It's just slowly.
But it's like with those kind of numbers. Those are kind of numbers that you see from players that are much younger, like if you're 23, 24, 25. So he can still keep up with the young guys out here. So that's not even a debate. But like I said, I just think when he gets to 43, then that's when you'll see that steep, decline. But like I said, if his durability, still keeps up, I think he has another, good year or two to where he can, average around those numbers before, he'll take that big hit. So
Mhm.
Hey, represent
Yeah,
for us
man.
40-year-olds, LeBron. Shit, fuck all
Like
that.
for real, cause like yo, we're about to move on for sure. But I was gonna say like, man, like
We supposed to
he was
move on like 15 minutes ago.
he was averaging 30 again. Cause man, we don't got many in this live. This could be his last season right here. Like if they don't get that extent, that's what's having this shit
That's
so
okay,
crazy.
dog. That's
Like,
okay.
that's all right too.
It's
That's all right.
time. It's time, bro.
like
It is
okay.
time.
That look here, look
It's
here, look. I think when he won the scoring, title, I think that sealed the deal for me. Because I mean, whether he wins another championship or not, it's
it
not
don't
like people are
matter.
going to be like, "Dang, he should have won another championship." Blah
Right.
blah.
No.
But yeah, I think that accolade sealed the deal. Well, LeBron has nothing else to prove.
Nope.
If he retires now or 3 years later, people will still feel the same way about him. Championship or no championship.
Is he
So
Exactly.
officially the second greatest person to ever pick up a basketball in the history of
Well,
the world?
y'all know who my motherfucking code is. I ain't gotta I ain't gotta explain all that.
I mean, yeah, I've always attested. I mean,
Yeah,
man, like
and that's the other part too. Like LeBron is definitely the fucking greatest overall fucking player to pick up a basketball. Period. Point blank. Period. Overall, but like I said, y'all know who my goat is, and my reason for my goat is going to be actually it's not even going to be the reason why people think it is. But
mhm.
in the same breath, people who saying that LeBron's the GOAT is going to be the same reason it may some it may be the same reason why Jordan is my GOAT and then for others it'll be look what he's done throughout his entire career. So it all depends on the person and how they want to depict who their GOAT is and how they choose to explain it. At this point, I'm not finna go back and
mhm.
forth with nobody on who the fucking GOAT is. My GOAT is my GOAT. Your GOAT is your GOAT, and we move the fuck on. Cause you know what I'm gonna tell you. You right. You right.
Yeah,
Whatever you try
because
and
let
run
me
down
let
to.
me tell you, when people start having these conversations between LeBron and MJ, man, you talking about heated conversations. It is like, man, like, hey, if he's
All I'm
your
gonna say
goat,
is
hey, I
you got
respect
it.
it. I
Right. You
respect
got
it.
it. Cause I'm not
I
finna.
I, I respect it.
I'm not doing this back and forth no more. Actually,
Yeah.
I really never really I tried not to do too much back and forth when it comes to that. Because
Mhm.
again, I've been fortunate enough to see them both play. And this shit's been amazing. this shit is this shit has been amazing for me
For real.
to see a lot of the players that have played through my lifetime. Like this shit has been amazing. So yeah, LeBron is definitely the greatest overall basketball fucking player to ever pick up a basketball. Like that's no question at all. Like that, and I think that's what his legacy should
Will
be.
be, right?
It should be that, like point blank period. Like there's nothing bad that you should really say about LeBron. Yes, he had those moments if you want to start drilling down into it, but in the grand scheme of things, this motherfucker is the greatest motherfucker to pick up the greatest overall basketball player to pick up a fucking basketball.
Like for real, man. And like it's just it I could go all day obviously about it. But like I said, we don't have many of these left. As of right now, he's on a 1-year deal left remaining with the Los Angeles Lakers. So we're gonna see if they come up with an extension. The most that can happen is that LeBron will become an unrestricted free agent in the summer of 2026. So I don't think Rob Pelinka allows that to happen. I think Luca would pull him to the side and tell him to definitely get him a deal. You know, Luca is on record saying that LeBron is his idol. He said that when he was like 19 years old. So when his ego was at his lowest in the NBA, that's who he said his idol was, and would obviously still say to the day. Luka has immense respect for LeBron. Both of them being point forwards at that. Of course, Luka is a point guard now, but came into the league as a small forward. Best believe it. And yeah, man, with the few minutes that we have left, we can go ahead and talk about the unsigned talent. I guess we can go ahead and start with the elephant in the room, or I guess like the hawk in the room, I should say. The biggest unsigned, well, unextended player, I should say, is Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks right now. He currently has 2 years left on his rookie extension with the Hawks, where he originally got 207 million, similar to the Luka Doncic extension with Dallas. And a lot of people are really wondering why Trae might not have gotten an extension yet. Mark J. Spears went on NBA Today and said that Trae, you could tell, because he said he was talking to him during like the summer league circuit, that he felt he caught the vibe that he was disappointed that no contract extension had been offered yet, seeing that he felt that he's doing a lot to show he is still loyal to the Atlanta Hawks. Like the he just signed with the Jordan brand back in 2024, and they had like a whole like fancy like Jordan event out in Athens, Greece, and a lot of people were there. Like Rui Hachimura was there, Luka Doncic was there, a bunch of Jordan athletes were there. Instead of Trae Young, he chose to go to free agency to the summer league, where he met up with Bryson Graham, Onsi Saleh, all the new members of the Hawks front office, because he wanted to become acquainted, really get to establish himself with the new faces, his new supervisors, basically. And yeah, man, like I think Trae wants to stay in Atlanta. I think he's only maintained uh, a good rapport with the front office. Of course, the coaches here and there, that is what it is. But I do think he finally has the roster around him to maximize his capabilities with Kristaps Porzingis, with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Luke Kennard. That's two 40% three-point shooters and an amazing defender who they already have on a 4-year deal. So the last thing really to do, the last two things I should say, are just extend Trae and Dyson Daniels for the future. Jalen Johnson already has his 5-year extension, and we're pretty sure that Zachary Reese-Shea is going to sign an extension when the time comes. Of course, that's not for a little while. So with Trae, he's making $45 million this year, going into the 25-26 season. He has a player option for the 26-27 season. If he decides to pick it up or become an unrestricted free agent, he would be on the market like any other point guard, any other star. I don't think that happens. To go ahead and get that out the way, I do think that Trae remains with the Hawks. He loves the franchise. He likes being the guy, and I don't see how it would just be so ass backwards. Like if Trae were to finally get this roster, that complements him so well. They match his age and the timeline and everything. And he were to up and leave. It like if the Hawks did not have Trae Young, they'd be like, man, all we need is that point guard that can feed all of these offensive weapons. And they happen to already have the league leader in assist at 26 years old. So I'm really excited to see what Trae's gonna do this year. And I feel like all we can do is really just wait for this extension. The deadline, it's not until like next summer of 2026 for Trae's deadline, not Dyson's, y'all, who might be getting that rookie extension confused with Dyson's. But yeah, man. So for Trae, like I said, he's making 45 million this year. The player option would take 48 million of the Hawks cap space, but I doubt Hawks fans have a problem with Trae taking that money. So what do you think happens with the Trae Young extension? The most they can offer him is the $229 million max, similar to De'Aaron Fox. So he make around 57 million a year, 50 million a year, something like that. So do you think Trae is worth that money? And do you think they're gonna give him the super max, the 229 million, or do you think they give him the runaround, given they haven't really had that much success with him on the team as the franchise player?
Well, I think if you just talk about his, skill set as a player, I think he is worth the money. Now he is eligible for a supermax contract, which is a 5-year deal around 345 million. if he makes all NBA. It
NBA.
doesn't where it's not where he has to make like first team or second team all NBA. If he makes all NBA period, no matter what team, then he's
Mhm.
eligible for that kind of contract. But if not, then it's the 4 year, 229 million, same contract that Darren Fox got in San Antonio. But I think that he's worth it. But I think the scenario for me as to why the front office has not given him the money yet, because Mark J. Spears did mention that, hey, they just they acquired Kristaps Porzingis, they acquired Nikhil Alexander Walker, they signed Luke Kennard. I think that they're trying to see how everything fits with everybody. They're just trying to evaluate how everything is with the players, with Trae and the other guys, how everything is going to work out together. And if everything turns out well, then I think that's where the front office would, um, be more engaged or have more of an urgency to get a deal done with Trae. So I don't think they're trying to like do that right now. Now, I guess if somebody were to ask me, like, okay, if you want to sign Trey right now, I would be more comfortable if he's willing to take a pay cut, because you have to keep in mind is that you have Dyson Daniels that you have to resign. Then, of course, at some point in time, you have to sign Zachary Richardson, even though that's not going to happen, immediately because he just got here. But and also if you happen to bring back Kristaps Porzingis, because right now he's on his expiring contract. So if he turns out well as a player on this team, you got to worry, you got to think about him as well. So, and we touched on this before earlier about the CBA and how it makes it difficult for players or teams rather to construct their roster, as competitive as they can. So it's understandable that the front office does not want to put themselves potentially in a financial predicament where they're not able to really make moves to the roster if need be. So there's a lot of things that tie into it. So I don't think just because they question Trey's his talent, whether they question if he's a player that they want to continue to build around. um, Now, of course, there's always two sides of a coin. So everything I'm saying is more on the positive side, but on the flip side to it, um, now we have to keep in mind that this is a new regime. So these aren't the guys. These aren't the same guys that drafted or traded for Trey, because we drafted Luka, then traded him to Dallas for Trey, an
Yep.
additional first round pick. So, but I'm just saying these are the guys that picked Trey. So I think it's fair to say that maybe Trey is not a guy that they envision, because you look at this team, the young core of Dyson Daniels and Zachary Shea and Jalen Johnson and Yucca Kongwu and other guys. So it's just more so, do they envision Trey as the main guy to win a championship? You also have to keep in mind is that the Hawks, they will have two first round picks in next year's draft. So they have their own, even though they have a pick spot with San Antonio. So you have that, and then also you have the pick from New Orleans. You're anticipating that that's going to be a lottery pick, and really potentially the number one overall pick in that draft, potentially. So, which is wild, but I mean, hey, so it just matter. It is more so like okay, if the Hawks are find themselves in a pot of gold, then I think that would make them think twice of whether or not if they want to move forward with Trey or whatever. So I'm just saying that I'm thinking that it's because they just want to evaluate. I think that's what the deal is here. And I think that's a smart thing to do. And Jake Fisher did mention this before in terms of the Supermax contract, that hey, I think this works in Trey's favor as well, because um even though that he's disappointed, he hasn't been given a max contract extension. But hey, if he turns out to play at a very high level where we can see him averaging 25 points, and we see him lead the league in assists, I think around 11. If he's able to average like 13 or 12 somewhere in there, then hey, and if the Hawks are really successful this season, this upcoming season, where they make a deep run into the playoffs or make the playoffs, period, then he could definitely, can make to the All NBA team, and then that's when he's eligible for the Supermax, and then I think that's when it gets really. I think that's where it gets challenging. But I'm just saying, Trey is walking into the season with a chip on his shoulder. So, like I said, I'm hoping that is the case. But like I said, there's always two sides of a coin. So it could be where they're just really evaluating if they think Trey is their guy, only because this is a new regime in the front office. So only time will tell. But I'm hoping that we have a successful season, and I hope Trey, um, comes to a solution with the Hawks, and hopefully that he'll remain here for years to come. So we'll have to see.
Mhm. Yeah, man. See, the Hawks fans are just fucking waiting down the days. Seriously,
Yeah,
waiting
yeah,
for this to get done. I think people just gotta understand, like, Trey is one of the biggest Hawks in like the last like 30 years, 35 years. Definitely the biggest one. Um, I think
35. Yeah,
I think people like to gloss over Dikembe Mutombo's era because he was only here for 4 years, but he was amazing down here. The Hawks were
hmm,
good in that era, like with Lenny Wilkins as the head coach. They were winning like 56 games. That was when we had Steve Smith. I think Mookie Blaylock as well. We had a really good team. We even had Christian
yeah,
Laettner at one point, who was really good down here for that year. Christian Laettner was actually pretty good for us that year. A lot of people don't know that, the former Duke Blue Devils. So I really wish I got to see the Dikembe era. Also, they had the best jerseys, like the black hawk jersey, so with the hawk in the middle and like the black on
man, I
top.
miss those jerseys, man.
Yeah, like that. Like those
That
are
should
the
be
best
our
jerseys.
actual jerseys, but
They would
yeah,
sell the fuck out, to be real. Like if those are like our actual when we if we went back to those like for our
man,
everyday.
yeah,
It's kind of like how I wish the Lakers would go back to like the blue Minneapolis jerseys. I really like those.
yeah.
But yeah, man. So with Trey, literally averages 25 points and 10 assists for his career after 7 years in the NBA. He's four-time All-Star, could be a six-time All-Star if he wouldn't have gotten traded those 2 years. Really think he doesn't get the credit for really coming in and really taking off the way that he did. Like he averaged 19 points and 8 assists his first year. His second year, he averaged 29.6 points and 9 assists a game. Like Trey
Hmm.
almost averaged 30 points as a 20-year-old, like in the NBA. Like people don't really understand like how crazy. And like the next year he averaged 25 and 9. The next year it was 28 and 10. And then it was 26 and 10, 26 and 11. This was 24 and 12. So he's literally that's why it pisses me off, man. When he's not a superstar. So I'm like, what the fuck? Fucking like what? You gotta average like 34
Yeah,
points
man. This that's just the politics, as I
for
always
real.
say in the
Seriously.
league. So that's how it goes.
Right. And yeah, man. So I do think that he is going to get it. It's gonna be tailor made for this team. And all that hate he caught, it was for this moment right here. I literally put out an article this morning at 11 where I said like just the subheading is that the Atlanta Hawks front office have finally surrounded Trey with the best supporting cast in his entire career. And now, like the entire league is about to witness the rise of a generational playmaker. And I feel like that's really indicative of what's going to happen during the 25-26 season. I really think that Trae's going to come out here and be in such a big spotlight with his passing, um, with so many weapons like Kristaps, Jalen, who's going to be healthy this year, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, who's getting better as a scorer, Luke Kennard, like the times they can play them together because defensively that's going to be pretty difficult. But if they can, survive on the court, Kennard's going to be an awesome weapon for Trae Young. So he only passes the ball more the more he has help. He had Dyson and Zachary this year, so of course he got the league. He led the league in assists. Just with the better weapons that he did have. So I'm excited, man, to see what they're gonna do. I think that if I had to give a prediction for their record, I wrote in the article that they'd probably go like 49 and 33 this year. About at least like the milestone is 50 and 32. If the Hawks can go 50 and 32 as like a fourth seed or a third seed, like their future, like it's about to be over for these motherfuckers. I'm gonna be real. Like it's about to be over for these dudes. You feel me? In the Eastern
Mhm.
Conference, like given the age of the Hawks core, how devastating they are in their respective skill sets. With you have your backcourt leading the league in assists and steals, so just think there's really not much they could do outside just at the supporting cast, which we have now. So I do think they're gonna pay him. Uh, we'll see if he gets it by the end of this summer. I think they'll get it closer to training camp if he does. Well, he when he does sign, of course. And that's really it for me in terms of all the notable players, all signed and unsigned. I know before we get out of here, we just wanted to list off some people. I guess last thing we can talk about is the Jonathan Kaminga situation. That's really, really prominent, of course. He declined the 2-year, $45 million deal from the Golden State Warriors, and he was offered a $90 million deal. I think it was from the Suns. It was from the Suns in Sacramento. So we'll see if he does get that. Apparently, he hasn't accepted those $90 million offers either. So I guess Kaminga, hopefully he doesn't pull a Dennis Schroeder and fumble the bag. But I guess on our last topic of the evening, how do you feel about Jonathan Kaminga as a player in the overall situation? I guess even just to lay the foundation. He's been all right coming out, of that 2021 NBA draft. He just got done averaging 15 points and 5 rebounds and 2 assists this season as a 22-year-old. So, where do you think he goes from here? The former number 7th overall pick of the draft.
Ooh, it's looking mighty rough for Golden State and Kuminga because I really do admire his game because he's like a prototype 3-and-D player,
Yep.
a guy that can, shoot the three, guard multiple positions. He has um, he brings a lot of size to the table. So he's always in shape and things of that nature. So um, I'm really a big fan of his game. But uh I think the worst case scenario for Golden State is, hey, they could bring him back on a qualifying offer, and then he could, walk into a free agency, then sign with whoever, and they don't get anything out of it. So if this is truly heading for divorce, then I think the right thing for Golden State is to get a deal for Jonathan Kuminga where they don't let him walk out for nothing. And I know that they want to get, pieces that can make an impact into their rotation right away. And I get that, but at the same time, that offer may not be out there. So it's best to just take the best offer that's there right now. Now, I'm not saying they should go and make a deal right away. Not saying now they could, because you have to understand is that they have there are other free agents that are in line to sign with them. Al Horford, Gary Payton II, and I think DeAnthony Melton is another name. Seth Curry, that's another name too. So there are other free agents that are ready to sign with Golden State, but of course, none of that has happened until this situation between Kuminga and Golden State can come to some sort of agreement. But I'm just saying, if they know Kuminga is not going to be there for them, be there with them for the foreseeable future, then I should say either just take the best deal now and get that over with, or if it's where you think you may be able to get more for him at the trade deadline, then it wouldn't hurt for them to to hold him up until then. But I just don't think that they should let them walk for nothing. I think it'd be best to get something out of it. But in terms of when, whether that's now or that's up until the trade deadline in next year in February, like I said, you can choose either or. But honestly, I hate to see him go. Like I said, I truly admire his game. He's a very talented player, and I think
Mhm.
just his talent definitely complements players like Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. But due to the fact that neither Golden State and Kuminga have really, you know, flourished together, sadly. But I mean, hey, that happens sometimes. But yeah, I think that they should take the best deal in any sign and trade deal. in the summer, or possibly revisit things before the trade deadline of next year and see where you can go from there.
Right. Nah, yeah, man. He laid it pretty nicely. Like yeah, he averaged 16 points during the 2024 season and only regressed by 1 point to 15. So he definitely has the talent for sure. I don't know if he wants to go to Sacramento, if he's talking about
Yep.
some usage issues. You're gonna play alongside DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. Like these guys are gonna get their shots up. Demonis Sabonis, like these guys are gonna definitely get their shots up for sure. And I think him being a fourth option, he might not get much better than where he's at right now. And I'm playing in Phoenix. They just got rid of KD, but they did get back at Jalen Green, who's definitely going to get some shots up. Dylan Brooks, who was shooting the 3 ball a lot last year, and Devin Booker, who's the leading scorer, of course. So that's another trio. I think he could take DB's spot in terms of the scoring. So I think Phoenix is looking a better fit for him, trying to get up in that big 3 spot alongside Jalen Green and Devin Booker. But I mean, you would have gone from a playoff team to a team that's at the bottom of the conference now, and they have to get acclimated to each other's play styles. So I think he'll just stay in Golden State. If I did have to guess, they're just gonna figure out the deal. I get it, like that
Man,
45 million.
that motherfucker finna collect a lot of DMPs if he stay in Golden State.
Like I mean,
He finna collect all the DMPs.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because like I mean, if
Yeah.
if I'm trying to think of like an actual good situation for him, like where he can actually fit as a wing, like Garrett did say, like obviously he's a three and D kind of guy. 3-point shots going down a tiny bit, but he's still a great scorer. Really athletic, great slasher. And even it's like looking at the standings, like I'm really trying to think like what team, because I don't think he's gonna want to go to an ass team. I think he's gonna want to stay on a contender. If I had to think,
he got no choice. He's not a. It'd be different if he, because he's a restricted free agent, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
deal.
he has no real power. So he gonna have to bite the bullet of wherever he gets sent, and work it out from there.
Yep. But the thing about it though is that even though he doesn't hold much power as of right now, but I guess later on, it's kind of gonna switch over to Golden State in terms of like, okay, what they're gonna actually do in terms of his value, because if they don't want to like let him walk for nothing, then obviously they have to make a decision. So even though he doesn't have much power, but it's just like Golden State, they're still gonna make a decision one way or another. So this
from Golden. My
Mhm.
bad.
There you
I
go.
was gonna say from Golden State standpoint. So let's say he's.
You keep him.
Let's
If you're
say
Golden State, you keep him.
Now, if you keep him, you have to play him. You have to
agree.
You have to make sure that you show off his value, so that somebody's like, "Oh, he balling. Let me make a trade." But we've seen the back and forth between him and Steve Kerr. I feel like he about to collect a shit ton of DNP.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why he would say that, like, just given how they've been treating him already. I will say if he's getting like miscellaneous playing time, I should say, and still putting up 15 points a game, I do think that his future is really bright if he does get the opportunity to actually hit the floor. If he becomes like that 28-minute, guy, I do think he could eventually average definitely over 20 for shit sure. Like, he was regarded really highly at the draft. And even then last season, like what was his minutes average? He was averaging 24 minutes a game and averaging 15 points. So if that goes up, if he becomes like a starter, he can average 5 more points for sure and really make his impact felt, I feel. So it sucks, man. I do agree with Wiley. Like he has no power. It's just he's getting anxious, man. He's still only 22. It'd be different if he was 27 and he just had he was really ready to get the hell out of there. He's only 22. Like, he still has time. He is improving pretty rapidly, if I do have to say. He went from 9 points to 16 that next year back in 2024. So, like, I mean, shit, man. Maybe like if he like Minnesota, maybe if they can like get a trade package for him, like Minnesota, like he could fit around the wing. They just lost Nikhil Alexander Walker. They got Jaden McDaniels. But I do think that Kaminga could fit in there. Maybe I don't know like their cap space situation, so I'm kind of hesitant to say that. But it's like the thinking about teams he could fit in the system, like Minnesota. Um, I mean, Denver, they're loaded on the wings, in my opinion. So Houston, definitely not. They have hella wings. Um, so I mean, yeah. I mean, I
I
think
would
I.
love him. I would love to have him, but
Oh
not
yeah,
for third, but not for 30 million. I
hell
don't know
yeah.
about that. Yeah.
For sure.
Mm,
Like I get it.
yeah.
Maybe like he goes to Detroit or something like that, but I don't think Detroit trades anyone off their roster. I think they really, really like their core, who they have.
Hmm.
And you're gonna have to like I got pretty sure Golden State's asking price for Kaminga is pretty substantial. So they're not letting him go for nothing. They know what he's capable of. They just don't really know where to really fit him. They're in a win now position. They always are being Golden State, but they don't want to let this rookie go or like this fourth year player now going into his fifth year. He's ready to leave. So I can see why I would say that. Steve Kerr was giving Jason Tatum a bunch of DMPs during the Olympics and stuff. Same with Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton never got to play in the Olympics. I don't think he never hit the floor. So I mean, yeah, like obviously those weren't personal instances, but still though, like I think Steve Kerr just got that pettiness in him. Um and I could see why Wiley would say that. They still got Jimmy Butler. He signed an extension. So that's another like 2 years of Kaminga coming off the bench and stuff. So I get it, man. He's ready to really break out and really assert himself and really show what he's capable of. And that's why he's turning down these deals too, even when they are more money, because he feels like he's worth even more than that. You're seeing dudes in your draft class, Cade Cunningham be a max player, Jalen Johnson damn near a max player with $150 million. So I feel for Kaminga. Last thing I'll say about it, like I guess if I could give it, like I said, I would like to see him in Minnesota. But if I'm being real, I mean, yeah, like Wiley said, he has no leverage on his rookie deal. He's an RFA, so I think they're gonna keep him, man. He turned down those $90 million offers, so I think they might keep him, but I don't want him to stay. It's a sticky situation, for sure. But I mean, like, what would you say your last 2 cents on it are, Garrett?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. So I think it's just gonna go. I think it's gonna. I think it's just gonna come down to is who's gonna offer him the most. More money. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it's about. It just seems like he's just ready to get up out of there. So I don't think that he's wanting to go anywhere. I think he wants to go to a place where it's a team that's looking to compete, of course, and a team that's going to put him in a role where he's feels like it's a good fit for him, where he can succeed, and of course pay him the value that he feels. So Minnesota is an interesting spot. It looks like the Suns is an interesting place after they uh, you know traded Kevin Durant and Wade Bradley Bill. They're bringing in younger guys to build
Ooh,
around
please,
Devin Booker. So I think
please.
just to add, but potentially add Jonathan Kaminga with a guy like Ryan Dunn, who is a really good defender at his age. So
Hell yeah.
that'd be interesting spot. So um, yeah, it does not. I don't really have like a list of landing spots that I could see him going to, but
Okay.
teams that you mentioned, I could see that happening for sure. But I think, like I said, the worst case scenario is if Golden State doesn't get something out. If they don't get anything in return for Jonathan Kaminga, because the worst scenario is where they bring him back on a qualifying offer, and then he ends up becoming a unrestricted free agent, and then he walks, and then you don't get anything out of it. Because I think his skill set is just too good to where you just let that go for nothing. So they had to get something. So that's why I
Mm,
say I think we'll see a deal. We'll see something happen. Between now and the trade deadline of next year. So But like I said, just a wait and see to see what happens. But um, mm, I'm hoping that something else would. I hoping something does change. I guess this is just me having wishful thinking at this point, but I know Al Horford is looking like he still wants to go to Golden State. But I would love to have a Al Horford and the Hawks reunited together. I would love him to play his last year. It looks like it's going to be his last season before he retires. So I would love for
Man,
him
bro, he played
to
his last
end
year. Yeah.
that in Atlanta. But I know we shared interest before, but hopefully something may change. But if not, it's all good. So wish all the
Mhm.
best.
No, for sure, man. And he'd come right back and put that number 15 back on, seeing
Yep.
how Capella left, most definitely.
Yep.
Um,
Hmm.
But that's it for me though on this episode. It's free agency, y'all. Just talking about the little things that are happening, and we did that. Been pretty exciting for agency. Katie went to Houston, Luca got an extension, the Hawks upgraded substantially.
Hmm.
So just really excited about the 25-26 season. It's gonna be really interesting. Some of the big storylines, LeBron not having a year past this year on his contract. Just wanting to see who's going to take the next step. With SGA and the Oklahoma City Thunder, we'll see if they can repeat. Um, and yeah, man, I do think it's going to be a pretty exciting season. I said steep. I've been talking for a long time today. Y'all had to work today. And yeah, am really excited about this season in particular. It's pretty poetic how we're getting it right as we approach the second half of the decade, going into 2030 and stuff like that. So LeBron's gonna be gone in a couple years, if not this year. So it's a lot that's gonna happen this season, and we're gonna cover all of it, most definitely. So thank y'all again for joining us on the Uncommon Commentators. And y'all have a blessed day. That's it from me, Garrett, unless you got anything.
Peace.
Thank y'all again.
They gave me my theme music.